Hello there and welcome to the GITEX Tech Waves Podcast, bringing you the latest trends and innovations in the shifting sands of tech worldwide. Now, I'm Georgia Tolley, and I'm delighted to say that today we are broadcasting live from the Dubai World Trade Center. I'm delighted to say that in this episode, we're welcoming Cherian Varghese into our studio. He is Senior Vice President for AI and Cloud Infrastructure in Growth Markets for Oracle, and that is in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. And we're going to be discussing intelligent automated systems and cloud infrastructure. It's a fascinating topic, and I'm really grateful to you, sir, for joining us. Thank you.
I'm grateful to be here, and it's a privilege.
Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, so, let's take a look first at the sort of current state of cloud adoption in the Middle East. How are we doing here?
I think Middle East is moving at a very rapid pace. I always say that UAE is the city of dreams and the land of the ambitions. Our customers, our consumers are all in that same wave. And I believe that the cloud infrastructure, the cloud adoption in UAE is moving at a pace which has surprised all of us. We probably thought that it would be moving much more slowly. There would be a guarded approach, but we've seen that I think maybe it is at the back of a push from the governments. Imagine having an AI minister being chosen, which is first of its time. 13 odd AI ministries, all having an AI minister and a portfolio. All this shows that the initiatives of cloud adoption of AI is right from the top, and it percolates down to every single industry. So we are excited. I think UAE is really a place to be in at this point of time. If you are not in the midst of this rising innovation happening in this part of the world, I'm saying that it's probably you're missing out something really spectacular.
Yeah, it's really interesting that in this country there is that sort of top-down effort to encourage businesses to adopt new technologies. And in fact, Oracle recently announced another sort of strategic global partnership at that sort of top level with Amazon Web Services, but also with Google Cloud, which is really interesting. Do you think we're likely to see more of these types of multi-cloud collaborations in the future? Because you'd think you'd be competitors.
I think the word would be open.
Yeah.
And that's the new buzzword of the cloud. Clouds were traditionally known as walled gardens, and it was a privilege of the few. What Oracle has actually demonstrated to the world is that cloud is open. And the more open you are able to collaborate and work with your customers much better. We first started off this partnership with Azure, Microsoft. We followed it by Google, and the recent of the announcements was with AWS. So we've done the three large hyperscalers. We are the fourth. So the hyperscaler world is completely aligned. Having said that, this partnership goes much beyond this. Within the LLM space, we have got a partnership with Cohere. In the hardware GPU manufacturer, everybody knows NVIDIA. No AI infra is complete without their contribution, and Oracle is strongly having a great partnership with NVIDIA. So I do believe that in the new genre of cloud, in the genre of super cloud computing, partnerships are the ones which will make your lifeline towards growth and innovation.
So to what extent do you think deals like this are democratizing the cloud, not just for governments, but for enterprises and even, the small and medium-sized businesses?
Cloud is for everyone. It's a place to be in, and if you have not been there, you probably are not adapted with technology. Obviously, everyone has a place where they start the cloud journey. Some of them start with the infra layer, some of them start with their data layer, some of them start with an application layer. Technology is complex. The beauty of cloud is that you could start from anywhere. And it's not the holy grail of a select few. It's an opportunity for everybody. I say that there are digital native companies who are born on the cloud. There are companies and governments who have had data for millions of years. They have got data across their citizen data, their infrastructure, and then you have a hybrid of customers. So no matter where you start on this journey, it's data for all, AI for all, and cloud for all is what I would say, all in. And that's the way the world is moving towards. And that's where I find that it's a great synergy. The technology is not a barrier for a select few, but it's for open adoption for the whole entire world.
So you've mentioned how here in the UAE, there is a sort of government-led approach to adopt new technologies. But are there industries, both here in the UAE and further afield, who are sort of leading the charge in cloud adoption?
Yes, there are surely different industries which have taken charge, and everybody's at a different life cycle. I can't say that this is the one which industry which has really made a difference, but I really like to point out 3 specific industries which have really made a big leap forward. And I said no better form than the government themselves. If you are in UAE and look at the digital services it offers you, from the time you enter the Dubai airport, you are digitally received by a complete digital transformation. Similarly, your road and transportations are digitally managed. Your telephone systems are managed. So government citizen services are a big forefront of this. So government, I would say, generalize it. There is banking, there is cloud and AI in every part of banking industry. Now, in banking, whether you're in insurance, whether you're in retail banking, you're in private banking, the entire portfolio of banking is a big consumer of this. And last but not the least, telcos are really the big game player. Telcos traditionally were voice and data suppliers, but today they have to find their own niche. And telcos find that value-added services from their side will be a big differentiator. And look at specifically when the ruler of Dubai started off the program of 1 billion coders. It actually opened up a completely digital native world, bringing new innovations. Hub 71 in Abu Dhabi is a place where billions of ideas gets generated and then into going into the whole region. So I see overall, it's a trend which you can't measure to say specific industry. I would like to surely say that some are faster, some moved off the blocks pretty faster, but fast forward the next few years, it will be pivotal and the adoption would really be at a pace which is unknown and never seen before in any kinds of trends, I would say.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting here in the UAE. And it's also a very exciting time to be in Saudi Arabia because you get this sense of the two sort of nations forging ahead in their sort of transition towards using AI in every single section of society, all the verticals, all the horizontals, you know. And there is this clearly this desire to sort of be the master of your own technological destiny. How important is cloud infrastructure in that? You know, there is this talk of sovereignty when it comes to cloud computing. Do you think that in order to have that, you need to have your own data centers, for example?
True. I think we have reached a stage where it's not technology for technology's sake. It's the differentiation in your business which actually makes the difference. I generally like to use this phrase pretty common. Data is really very powerful, and companies like Oracle, we are born out of data. We were born out of the necessity of data. Good data gives you good AI, and good AI, to run good AI, you need good cloud providers, and good cloud providers need good cloud infrastructure. So there is a correlationship between data, AI, cloud providers, and cloud infrastructure. Now, having said that, you really need to have a solid infrastructure cloud player because it depends on a huge consumption of energy. It involves world-class technology because you're providing it. It can't fail. It needs to have great security compliances, and it needs to fall by the rule of the land. So many such constitutes make this whole gamut of technology adoption. And countries like UAE and Saudi have really made it possible to move at a faster pace. I think the environment is available. The governments are driving towards sustainability. There's a good energy requirement and demand. And most important, they are absolutely open-heartedly letting the large companies evolve and create an infrastructure which I say is second to none. So if you want to stay invested, you want to invest in business and be at the forefront of technology, and be closest to Silicon Valley. This is the Silicon Valley of the East, I would say.
Let's get into the specifics of some of the deals you sort of alluded to there, because we recently learned that the UAE telco company DO is now preparing to offer these sort of sovereign AI capabilities to both Dubai and the Northern Emirates, specifically their governments, using your service, Oracle Alloy. I mean, what is the significance of that, do you think?
I think sovereign AI is going to be a game changer. Imagine trying to have a cloud infrastructure in each of the countries of the world. We're talking about 192 odd countries. Technically, it would not be possible to have public clouds in each of these regions. It's expensive and it takes a lot of time. I think that's the place where telcos like Do have really started to play a really strong wave. So what's our partnership with Do? What we have done is we have taken Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, partnered along with Do, and Do will be the provider. What our brand is called as Oracle Cloud Alloy. Alloy will become the sovereign cloud to the segment which Do finds fit. Now that could be the public sector or it could be the private sector. But what it allows is for them to able to ensure that there's a technological adoption both in public sector and in private sector. And customers can use the same Oracle Cloud infrastructure which we were selling to the world as public cloud. And this is white labeled as Do Cloud. And the best part is that Do will be able to offer the same 99% availability, 99.9% availability. It's the same Oracle Cloud. It's got all the 100 plus services which we offer, and it's the same experience. So overall, net, I think going forward, sovereign clouds will actually evolve globally. And there could be multiple players for this. In this case, in UAE, it is Do who's at the forefront of it. We are working actively with the European Union to have the first European cloud, which is another sovereign cloud. Governments will have their own cloud. For example, in the US, we are working with the Ministry of Department of Defense to have their own Department of Defense clouds. So all this are sovereign clouds ensuring that data is protected, data is compliant, and data is more secured. Because the future supremacy of countries and supremacies of organizations will depend upon how secure you can have your data. How strong can you protect your data at the same time you're protecting the citizens. So I think that's the reason why sovereignty of data, sovereignty of cloud will actually be a very important subject in every single boardroom of every single organization.
You mentioned the future there. I couldn't let that pass because we love to end our interviews with a little bit of a glimpse of the future. And I'm going to come at you with a figure because according to PwC, approximately 70% of Middle East companies plan to migrate most of their operations to the cloud within the next 2 years. I mean, that's a staggering number. What advice would you give to those organizations who are looking to make a start with that?
Think big. Start small, but start. Don't get left out in the race because technology is the core differentiation of your business. Technology is going to be the core differentiation to the service what you provide to your citizens. Technology is the core differentiation what's going to be a differential towards any gamut of business you are in. So if you don't adapt yourself, if you don't embrace this, you can't fight it. I would say adapt it wholeheartedly. For some, I do agree it could be 2 years. For some, it could be 3. But I can tell you, in general, this is the tipping moment for mankind and for entire humanity. I would say go to that extent to look at the crystal ball and say that we are going to be touched by digital world in every single aspect of our life. So organizations which want to stay relevant, governments which want to stay relevant, they will have to adopt and adapt this the faster. The faster they adopt this, they will be the darling of the audience. They will be a darling of the citizens. So I do believe that technology as a differentiator is what is just around the corner for the couple of years to come and much beyond.
Wow, that's really interesting. That sort of glance into the future there, a sort of mirror into the future. Thank you very much indeed, Cherian Varghese. A real pleasure. And if you want to watch more episodes like that, if you want to see more from the GITEX Tech Waves podcast, then I really recommend following us on social. Check out @GITEX Global. Thank you very much.